Durian main story today is Queen of Preschool. And with us in our studio today is Grace, who is the principal and founder of a preschool business.
Grace Chow is the founder of Tadika Aktif, a 21st century smart preschool and English learning center. The center incorporates the latest multi-sensory and multi-intelligent systematic ways of teaching and learning, and this results in powerful learning for kids between the ages of 2 and 10. Grace, welcome again to the studio.
Welcome, Grace.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like we have a very advanced lady here.
Yeah, let's start off with the first question for our lady who is the expert on preschool. Grace, what makes your education products for children unique compared to other products which are currently in the market? Can you give us a very short summary, say in a sentence?
All right. Basically, the impact is that we are looking at children that is able to learn very fast for a very young age. And then we are able to do real-life learning because today we have a lot of video recording, etc. So it's no longer the rote learning, the way we previously learned from the old system. So it's a new system.
Great. There's 3 sentences, but I forgive you.
Did you count my sentence?
Yes, we will count your words.
No wonder you're shocked, Andrew.
Because today we live in a very, very busy world where everybody has got no time to do anything else, you know. So every time we talk to customers, they say, hey, quickly, come to the point. Don't be around the bush. What are you selling? What's so great about your product? You know, we get that kind of things from customers, okay? And they don't have all day to listen to us to give them a sales pitch, which is half an hour long. And there's another gentleman over here in the studio is laughing at us.
Yeah, I think it's the today environment with so advanced in technology in terms of communications. During our days, we can wait for the computers. And nowadays, we can't wait for the computers. Even for 1 second in silence, we are dead.
Yeah, why so slow?
Why so slow? So these are the things. And we can see that Grace here is employing multi-sensory and multi-intelligent system ways to teach.
You mean, Grace,
learning.
These methods are not available before or is not so good?
Okay, firstly, multisensory is, I would say, pretty new. Okay, using all the 5 senses inclusive of our smell and so forth. All right, I think especially with the pet technology now, as you know, most young kids grow up with iPads. Okay, everything is very fast, as you said.
Always use finger only.
So we have to go back to basic, multisensory, and basically it's like we grew up those days with multisensory.
Yes, we play those things all outdoors, you know.
Yes.
Marbles, kites, spiders,
yes,
running around with sticks.
Right.
And marbles and jumping around, right?
Yes. So now that children are not playing outdoor as much as we like them to, so we have to also now build this into the education. And they are spending a lot of time in the preschool. So it's important that we do this systematically so that it's covered. Otherwise, we increasingly, not only in Malaysia, around the world, you find that children cannot hold a pencil to write.
Yes. Even though they have very strong index fingers, right?
Yeah, this is one of the outcome.
And I believe that recently they have this motion called no kids should be left at home motions in the overseas, which means they have to bring the kids more towards the outdoor living.
Yeah, starting to realize
this kind of is a very unhealthy situations now. And well,
can we sue Apple for inventing all this iPad stuff?
I
think the new TPPA, can we sue?
I think he took it to the grave.
Apparently, I was told that Steve doesn't allow his kid to use the iPad.
Exactly, right. Yes, that's true.
Because he sees the detrimental factors behind it. Right?
But he asked the whole world to play with it. How unfair.
Good business for
and
Apple.
he doesn't allow his kids to play with it.
Well, you can say that. But it's just too bad people are just going towards it, and because it's the iPad is such a attention grabber, people use that to pacify the kids. Instead of giving them a pacifier, now they give them a iPad.
So Grace is actually trying to reverse this trend where she uses all the other senses for the kids to learn, and this is proving to be very effective. Eric, I've actually paid a visit to Grace's center where I saw these kids, they learn really fast. At the age of 2, you actually start learning. Whereas most kids, they start at kindergarten at the age of 5 or 6, you know. By the time, it's really a bit too slow. And these kids are at the age of 2, 3, and 4. They are almost at the level of primary school, right?
Yeah.
Really fantastic.
So we should give very commendable praises to Grace.
It's not only the concept and the innovation, but the teaching aids also play a part, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, Grace, can you tell us more about this new innovative system of learning for the kids?
All right. Firstly, I started my school from scratch. And I was lucky that when I first started my school, I came across this wonderful principle of multiple intelligence by
When
Dr.
was that,
Howard
Grace? Can you
Gardner.
tell us?
That's exactly 10 years ago.
Wow.
All right. So my kindergarten is like a little laboratory, and I'm glad that after 10 years, all the results show. All right. So multiple intelligence, meaning to say, it's not just how smart it's about how smart we are in different ways.
Right.
There are 8 types of intelligences. So usually, in the past, school will recognize the people are strong in mathematics,
Right.
okay, and word. Those are the main 2 things. But today we're talking about, what about the kinetic, the body smart, like Andrew, right, who likes to exercise. People who can sing, people who can dance, they're equally smart. In fact, they earn a lot of
Wow.
money.
Makes
And-
me regret I should have gone to grade school when I was small.
Yeah.
I can't sing, I can't dance, you know.
But you can jump. I remember you was a gymnast.
Yeah.
Oh, that was when somebody is holding a cane behind.
I guess today with the world showcasing all this talent, we have all these talent shows.
Yes.
It makes it very conducive for us to actually pay attention to these fields.
Right.
No longer just, hey, you're good in engineering or banking, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure it develops the left and right brain, right?
Correct.
So in a way, I think Grace is starting to make the shift of all the stereotypes of parenthood, where the parents only motivate their children to take up professional skills, academic skills, right?
Yes. So I'm glad. In fact, just last week I came across Mind Valley. All right. And it's an American company that's based in Malaysia. They are talking about alternative education. So I think children can have a different kind of education, and they can actually be very passionate in what they do. So I think from preschool, my center actually can identify, I'm trained to actually identify the children and make them aware, and I communicate to the parents what their
Grace,
strengths
how
are.
young should we start them?
Actually, as we all know from the brain development, 2 to 3 years old is the best age for learning. The
Really?
children are very, very clever. They can't talk yet, but
I
that's
actually
the time.
started learning at the age of 20 to 30. I mean, you can call me a slow learner.
But you are learning different skill at that time, isn't it? At that time, we are learning how to survive.
Eric, we should have met Grace much earlier, right? Then I can start learning a bit earlier.
I think on a serious note, sorry, okay? I think today we're talking about One Earth. Okay, my
Yeah.
next year project for my school is that we need to take care of One Earth. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And if we don't take care of One Earth, then it defeats the purpose of us being in education. All right? So we have to teach our children about this, because the sharing among adults is already very obvious now that we're in this community, in this handphone, smartphone kind of thing. The next thing that the children need is to care for the earth. So in order to do that, all right, and not to waste further resources with all these problem that we're having, we need children to actually master languages, to learn languages from young, collaborate, and communicate with each other, not only locally but internationally.
As young and as early as possible.
That's right. Because it's funny, right? If you speak a language, after 3 to 4 years old, you're not so good at it because of your tongue, right? So if you learn English and you're not learning Mandarin, for example, you won't be able to pronounce certain words so well.
Yeah.
Okay? So I came across this real example last year when I was in China. This girl, she got A, she can write English brilliantly. But when I started asking her to say, "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," she just can't pronounce the word star. So it's very sad. And yet, these are the kids around the world in Asia that really wanted to learn English. And I feel that with systematic way of teaching, like what we have right now, the 21st century, all right, writing program is not difficult. Okay, you just have to do it well and do it once. That's why I'm glad that people like Mark from Facebook, they're all having kids now. They're coming into education, and I can see the light now.
Right.
And these are the people who will make changes.
That's great. That's something very innovative, right?
Yes, and
So, Grace, you say you have been doing this for the past 10 years. I'm sure you have achieved a lot within this time. So, can you tell us what you were doing before you actually started up this business and took up the products?
All right. So my last job, I used to work. My last job was as a PR in a company that focused only on IT companies.
so what's make you change from IT to educations?
Well, basically, I wanted to go into a recession-proof business because when I was in PR, in 1997, you find that you will be giving a lot of proposals, and sometimes, there's no feedback.
Yeah,
so that's one,
the two old
recession-proof.
dogs here.
And secondly, I wanted a change to work with kids. And of course, at the bottom line, there was a calling, all right, for me to actually go into
I think
kindergarten.
you must have a passion, whatever we do, right?
That's right, passion.
So do you see this move as a crusade for you?
Yeah, in a way. You're right.
So being the crusaders, you are giving it as a charity in a way?
Well, I really don't mind contributing, okay, as long as I think we should narrow the gap between the rich and the poor. Today we
Yes.
see a big gap now.
That's true, and the gap are actually growing.
Yes, so
And
that
with
is one area that we
with
need
the
to
rich
address.
getting more and more powerful,
Correct. And
And,
it's not healthy.
and it's not healthy, and these rich people are actually raping the earth.
Yes.
And if you talk about one earth to leave it to our generations to come, I can't see that there's any much left for them to enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about the haze, right?
The haze, the forest cutting, everything.
Yes.
Manufacturing, setting up so much smoke and smog in the
Yeah.
atmosphere and the industries. Too much smoke
And
and
now
emissions, right?
the most irritating one is now the so-called the vaping culture.
That also contributes to more smoke.
Yes, and I don't see why they want to start that in the first place.
I think the government in Malaysia is clamping down and say no more smoking. I mean, vaping already, isn't it?
Well, the harm already done. And
Really?
people already got hooked on the vaping.
Oh, okay. So
and
they got to
they will be
vape at home.
They will
in
vape
private.
at home. They can do a lot of things at home. And they aggravated the situations.
Yeah, Grace, a lot of our listeners, I believe, are parents. Would you have a message for our parents in ASEAN today regarding their kids, whether to start them young instead of wasting the golden years of their learning? Or, say a few words.
I think most parents, they know about this, but they may not have experienced it, okay, because basically our education system here still start at 4, but the real advantage is at 2 to 3 years old. So, for example, we have grandmothers, grandparents, with due respect, because times have changed. The earlier you go in and learn the languages, I'm not talking about one language. I'm talking about
Multiple languages,
three main
especially
languages.
in Malaysia.
And doing, well, not only in Malaysia actually. If you
Some
go,
countries, they need to learn only 1 or 2 languages. But in Malaysia, we must at least learn 3
but
languages.
in order for us to actually, especially the growth now is in South Asia, in order for us to collaborate and work very well, I think it's an advantage to know one
Yes,
more
and
language.
I
Right.
believe that the more languages you learn, the more advantage you are in the open
Exactly.
market. You don't need to
Exactly.
hold any professional qualifications. As long as you are proficient in a lot of languages, then you are.
And the main thing is that when they know the languages well, they communicate. And the next thing is we can collaborate quite easily now with technologies. In the past, it's difficult. Like you're in Malaysia. But right now, I can collaborate. Let's say a kid is very good in certain environment handling in, let's say in India. All right, he can actually invent this and we can share around the world. Because talents are all over the world. So we don't have to waste on this type of talents.
For example, if a neighboring country, say Thailand, if a parent were to send a kid to your school, Grace, to learn a language, say English, you know, the Thais are not so good with their English, right? So let's say he sends a kid to a school at the age of, say, 2. That's the best age, right?
Yes.
How long do you think that the kid can actually be able to speak and write, not say PhD level, write something that people can understand as a useful language?
Yeah. Actually, Andrew, it's standard because all kids are almost the same. All right. Because I've got kids that came straight from China. Their parent is the mom is a Chinese
So they
from
learn
China.
English.
They came without a single word of English, and by the time they finish, they are equal.
How
So all
long does it
kids,
take roughly?
It's the same.
5 years?
Well, basically,
years?
if you start 2 to 3, they focus on listening. The step
Right.
is to listen and to speak. By 3 plus, they can speak because they're
Within
in
1 or 2
environment.
years, they actually have a good working
Yes.
knowledge.
So basically, by 4 and 5, they would have mastered their reading as well. Because once you start to listen, to speak, you want the child to read so that
Wow.
they can actually acquire the grammar.
That's very fast, Grace.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit how you manage to teach the kids so quickly so they can actually speak and write a bit of the language?
All right. In order to do that, you must have very solid step-to-step procedures.
A system.
Yes, you must be systematic. It has to be disciplined.
You mean
Alright.
the teaching method?
Yes, it has to be disciplined, step to step. And basically, what makes us different is that we teach things within the school hours. Now, there's another thing about the brain. The children's brain is very active in the morning.
Right.
So, and that's the best time that they learn. Unfortunately, I can only say for Malaysia, maybe other part of Asia, okay? They started putting in essential thing out of school. And that's when in the afternoon or just on weekend once a week, that's very commercial, all right? And as a result of that, the children are not learning as much as they should within the
Yeah.
school hours.
Because it's kind of a bit tired, right?
Yes.
The kids.
And secondly, I think, like I said, I love technology. And when I came in, I look at how to merge technology into preschool. And with the amount of video and multimedia real stuff that we have right now, the children are able to grasp much better. So their quality, the things that they're getting, all right, is a lot more. So teacher then act as a facilitator, and it's also easier for the teacher. So if you use all these resources correctly and time it very well, I'm sure all children around the world can learn all
Not
3
only in
languages.
Malaysia.
All around the
Not
world.
only at your center.
No.
They
So-
can make use of that system and the teaching tools in other places in ASEAN.
Yes, I would love to see that happen.
So which means
Wow.
to say that your system actually can be used across the board. Doesn't matter which nationalities.
Yes.
As long as they just follow the system
That's
through,
fantastic.
they understand the system, practice it, and that's
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You know, and frankly speaking, I do come across people who learn languages out of needs of survival. You know, recently when I went to Siem Reap, I asked those guide how they pick up their language. I mean the foreign language like French, Koreans, and they said I learned it to Google Translate. So it's a matter of survival. So for them, if they want to be out of their so-called poverty, they have to learn new skills. You know,
And new languages.
And new languages. So the only way for them to make more money is to be a tour guide in their own country.
Yeah, that can actually make money.
And frankly speaking, the way when I heard them speak French, of course I don't know about French, you can actually sense their fluency in it.
Yeah,
And
it's a matter of practice.
It's
I
a matter
think.
of practice. So I asked them, how do you all learn? They just said Google Translate. They don't even have a language to
Yeah,
schools there.
imagine if they have Grace tools, they can learn
Yeah,
even
if grade
better and
school
faster,
can
right?
put it there, I would say it's tremendous.
In fact, when I do English now, okay, there's always this. I encourage my children to do self-learning after a while. All right, we can't be all going for homeschooling. Let's
Yes,
face it.
that's true.
All right, so immediately what they have is they have a smart gadget or an iPad, and when they search for a word, I immediately get them to actually go into translation, so that they learn one more word, and the children feel very fascinated.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
We are talking about Queen of Preschool, and our Queen of Preschool today is Grace Chow. And why we say she's a queen is that she's really innovative. She has started a business 10 years ago, studying and experimenting how is the best way to teach children, especially young children, and what is the age to start them off, especially when they are really small at the age of 2. That's the best time they can absorb a lot of information and knowledge. Okay, so we are going to ask Grace a few more questions before we knock off for the day.
So like Grace, you started the schools with almost like 10 years. So initially, what were the main obstacles you faced when starting your business?
For here in Petaling Jaya area in Malaysia, right,
Yes.
where my school is, the first obstacle was Mandarin craze among parents, and I do not know the language at all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember a decade ago, everybody is crazy about Mandarin.
Even today,
Yes.
Even today.
all parents send their kids to Mandarin school, including the Malays and even Indian parents send their kids to Mandarin school. I don't know why.
But having said that, I realized that that's where creativity comes in, because when typical teachers teaches it the logical way, the normal book way, you find that the children are not absorbing it as well. So today I have cracked that particular problem.
So
alright,
you cracked the Da Vinci Code.
in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also learning it through that way. So there are very fantastic systematic software that
To
actually,
unlock the potential for the kids.
yeah, basically Chinese, for example, is a character, and they
Yeah.
have redrawn the whole character to suit the children.
Yeah, actually, that's the toughest part about learning the Chinese language, right? It's not like B-A bar, D-A da, you know?
Yes.
It's hard to pronounce. Every single character is a picture.
Yes,
And you have to memorize thousands and thousands of pictures in order to read or write Chinese, right?
and because they've done it in an animated way where all kids will love, okay, they can actually capture the image and
Wow.
therefore remember 1,500 words by the
Wow.
time they're 6 years old. And not only that, as you know, computer games, yes, there's good and bad, but if you
Yes.
can put in game into education, in this case, the software that I'm using, the children actually
Yeah.
can actually practice. And
I think that's the secret, right?
yeah.
Yes. And
Incorporating games into learning
yes,
for
Yes.
children.
and I
Yes.
believe that the computer games in education is still at the infant stage in Malaysia at this
Eric,
moment.
you should have seen the games that in Grace Place that the children are using. It's
Okay.
fantastic. They learn so fast.
I will definitely pay a visit to your center.
Send your
Well-
kid there.
Send my kids.
Your grandchild.
Yeah.
Not maybe I can I can bring my daughters over to have a look at your kind of software, because I mean, put it this way, my 2 girls are also developing computer games for education,
Wow.
I think can work together.
Yes, yes.
Improve.
and
the
probably
teaching aids.
since you already have a running model, if you don't mind, I can bring them along to actually take a look.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Bring me along.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
My
sure.
pleasure.
Remember my snack.
Okay, I will bring you cashew nuts. Afterward, I go and stock up my cashew nuts.
Okay, Grace. What is your future expectation for your project in, say, 3 years from now?
Okay. Basically, the first phase of this laboratory of transforming early childhood is done, and I look forward to basically to make some awareness among parents that actually the creative education can be done. So we need to have some movement here. At the moment, I would say it's very lacking.
Yes.
On behalf of all my parents and teachers, I know how's the situation, but we really, really need to bring back the mindfulness into education.
Yes, and
Yes.
I think because most of the parents, I would say 80% of the parents are stereotypes towards the academic score of that particular subjects.
Yes,
You know, they treat English as a subject to score A,
Yeah.
and
and they are so technical about it.
if you talk about Malaysia, okay, I was just looking at some results, and they're scoring A's, but really, at standard 3, they can't differentiate between what is plural and singular.
Yes,
That's
it's true, it's true.
rather sad.
Yeah, I noticed the bookstores, the bookshelves selling revision books for secondary school up to Form 3 level. They are still teaching singular and plural.
Yes.
Not only primary schools.
Because at primary, they don't actually cover grammar now, and I urge parents, please do pay attention to this. There's something
Yes.
wrong.
Yeah,
we're not going to
something very
blame
wrong.
we're not going to blame each other. We're not going to point fingers.
It's just a fact.
But let's come together. Let's do something about it for the kids. Because kids are very smart, and if we can train them to learn on their own rather than just depend on someone, okay, there'll never be enough teachers out there. So we have to change the way they learn.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and we can.
And
Fantastic.
And I would say grammar is so important when it comes to their working life. I remember situations like this when I was a senior project manager managing a few project sites. All my site managers, when they write the correspondence to me, I need to scratch my head what they are writing about. Firstly, they are writing to me in SMS languages. Then secondly, the whole grammar is all jumbled up. So can you imagine if you chronograph a project and the language and the grammar is not proper, you lose money like nobody business. Because anything wrong with the project paper, you can't claim your money. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a very detrimental factor if you can't get your
I always
grammar.
believe kids should have mastered their grammar when they are in primary school. Sadly, you know, today even university students are struggling with grammar.
Yes, and that situation, all my site managers are university graduates.
Yeah,
We
read in the
purposely want them to
newspapers.
be university graduates so that they can correspond with us. But
We don't know about other countries, but in Malaysia, we read every day in our media that the university students are all struggling with grammar and language. Just the other day, the doctors, you know, you read the news about the doctors who didn't want to become doctors because they couldn't find information on the internet. Their English is not up to the standard to
Because they cannot
understand
spell.
proper English.
So in this way, I would say the reciprocal effects will comes into our generations to come if the English method is not properly taught. Do
Yeah.
you agree with me on that one?
Well, I'm seeing the positive. Like I said, I want to bring positiveness to this already very depressing
Right.
part of thing. And recently, I actually coached the children to do English sentences. As you know, they don't write sentences anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of them have been, with due respect, they have been actually doing it the very hard way, going for tuition every week. The parents have been driving them.
Still cannot make a sentence.
Yeah, sad. And they've been writing, okay? However, when I use the technology way, there's nice video. I even show them, for example, you know how a bit comical. We have this program called Mind Your Language, remember?
Yeah,
Right, right.
And I
famous.
play it to them and hey, pick up the error spelling, and all these are on the YouTube. So I use it. I use all these to bring life into the lessons. You have Mr. Bean, for example. So when children are creative and children are happy, they learn a lot more.
Yeah,
Yes,
learn
that's true.
faster.
And basically to teach sentences, and if they have got the basic vocabulary, it's not that difficult, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
we always put that learning should be fun.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. As long as they know the meaning and why they do it. So today we go back to the mindfulness, all right? The parents must know why, kids must know why, even from young. All right, why are you doing this? As long as they understand
I
the
think
why.
the parents only know why they cannot score A.
Well, I think, I look forward to having Durian Asian to host more events.
Sure.
Where,
Yeah, we'll emphasize a bit more on English. Not only for Malaysia, I believe all the other ASEAN countries, we have problems with English. Thailand, Indonesia, and maybe even Singapore, which is supposed to be more advanced. I'm sure their English also needs to be improved.
Well-
There's still some room.
yeah, basically, like I said, this is, if they want to learn the English, they all have to go out and they pay the extra. A lot of money to learn.
Right.
And I think today what we want is, like I said, to be fair to everybody, if most schools adopt the proper system, computer education actually, if you do it well and duplicate it well, it should bring down the cost. But right
yes.
now, if we don't have the volume, it became like,
More
for
expensive.
my school, it's more expensive because it's
Yes.
a
Yes.
laboratory. I don't apologize for that because
No
Yeah.
problem.
So
Because
I
nobody
hope-
else.
I
took
hope
the-
that we have more people to come into these movements,
Yes.
and your daughter can come in to write software for Malaysia, you know, things like that. Then things will go better in terms of costing, and more people can benefit from it.
Yes, it's true, it's true. So from that gesture, what do you expect your business to do for you presently? Personally, I mean in a way.
Okay, personally, I'm looking forward to be able to help spread this alternative education. Now, the alternative education is still very new. Like I said, I come across companies here. All right, we still have to work on it, but there is some light in the tunnel right now, and kids have to be taught and learn to take care of the earth. Okay.
Yes.
So
I think
Earth Initiative.
I think the adults need to be educated first, because it's actually
I'm sorry.
the adults are
I'm
destroying
sorry.
the earth.
I'm sorry. It's too late already. Okay.
Because the adults are getting greedy.
Well, basically, we can't change habits.
Right.
Let's get it right, because just like recycle, okay? If you use a plastic bag, you use to a plastic bag. But if we teach the young, they are very faithful and they will listen.
Yes.
All
In
right?
fact, the young are more aware of the earth.
Exactly.
It's, not, it's the
more hope
adults.
for our future generation compared to the old generation. Very hard to
Yes,
learn. already.
and sometimes it's real sad, because I do a lot of jungle trekking and hiking, and it's real sad that a lot of adults are actually teaching the kids the wrong way. When they take kids to the jungle, they just throw the rubbish
Yeah.
everywhere, and at times you actually have to pick up for them.
So,
So these are the factors that a lot of adults are doing it, and you can see a lot of advertisement that you can see adults driving cars and just open up the window and dump the garbage. As long as the garbage is not inside their car, it's everywhere else.
yeah.
Right? So these are the things it should start from, educating
In fact,
the
when
adults.
I did the overall summary of my multiple intelligence assessment, it came out that nature is the weakest among our students here. Nature.
Yes.
And in order to correct this, when school reopen next term, you're welcome to come visit my school. And we're going to start off with nature. All
Great.
right? We will introduce nature to kids.
And I believe near your place there's a very good forest reserve.
Yeah,
It's
Eric
very
can
good.
help
Yes.
me bring the kids
No
there.
problem, no problem. And in fact, we on my side we already started a program called Care to Run. We actually mentee kids to be exposed to the outdoor.
Yes.
So each of us will take a few kids to run, to go jungle
Yes.
trekking.
So we must start with this basic, okay, and then planting to their own vegetable. Right now, you can plant anything. Simple act of that, okay. We want to do that more because that's our
Yeah.
weakness now. So nature is one. Number two is, you'll be surprised, is actually people sharing.
Yes.
Okay, today kids find it very difficult to share because they play the iPad game and they all want to win. So
Yes.
back to the good old sports activities, play with each other, board games, things like that.
And if we can rope in the parents to join us together, it will be much more effective.
True.
Yes, because most of the parents, the modern parents, felt that the jungle is very dangerous, so they never allowed their kids to go inside the jungle.
True.
It's the same thing even right until today. When I say I go jungle trekking, go hiking, my mother will always say, "Careful, it's very dangerous inside." I said, "What is so?"
Got tiger, ma.
Got tiger. Then the next thing they said got devil. Right? So I said the devil is not inside the jungle. The devil is in our modern society.
And of course, not to forget Andrew, the last one is about,
Yeah.
let's say, self-assessment, self-smart. We want the children to start setting their own goals, knowing what's the meaning. From young, through simple activities, it can be just game. And of course, money goal is very important. No? We need them to save money.
Definitely,
Yes,
yes.
yes. That's very important. Okay?
And I think the best is to start them young to value money. It's not how to spend money.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And how to live within the means. That's one thing. And a lot of parents actually shower kids with material things.
I hope one day somebody will start an education for parents, just like Grace is starting a very innovative program
And in
for
fact,
children.
it's already there. It's called like modern parenthood, and nowadays there are so many courses about parenthood and all this.
Parents today are very busy, right?
Yeah, but they always said that we are too busy to attend this blah blah blah. But a
Please
lot of
teach
things-
my kids.
I leave my kids to you. You take care of them.
Yeah, just like when you go to the
I-
bookstore, you see parents buying basket loads of books,
Yeah.
not for themselves, buy back for the kids to read. They themselves will never do any reading.
I think one suggestion, if Duran ASEAN were to have a tie up with Durian King in Taman
Wow.
you see?
yeah.
Then we do a
Then we go.
durian fest.
And then at the same time, you
Fantastic
talk about
promotion.
your financial thing
Mm,
or our
right.
education. I think that works. Let's have some
Fantastic.
fun.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Yeah. Thank you once again, Grace, for taking time to share with us on ASEAN BIZ. and we hope to see you again soon. Guys, you can actually contact Grace. She has got lots and lots of information, bank of knowledge and information, especially wonderful stuff for kids, young kids and small children. You can email Grace at grace@tadikaactive.com. Active is AKTIF. Or you can visit her website at tadikaactive.com, TADIKAAKTIF.com. And
in case listeners are unable to catch the spelling, we will post it in our page.
right, and Grace might want to give you her WhatsApp. Today we have technology, right?
Yeah, sure,
Yes.
sure.
Right.
There
would
could
like
be
to
a lot
help.
of teachers who need your teaching aids and your systems to help their kids. I'm sure it's going to be very
And
helpful.
we're really looking forward that the method that Grace employed can flourish within the regions, to give kids more better way of learning languages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Grace, give your WhatsApp, your handphone. Yeah. What's the
Oh.
number?
Okay, 016 2068 680. I repeat, 016 2068 680.
Right, great. Eric, I think you can call that number and
Right.
make an appointment to see her kids at the school.
Definitely.
The other day, I went over to have a quick look, and I was amazed. There was a small boy at the age of 6. Grace taught him how to read the newspaper. Can you imagine that? Today, I'm teaching English class, and my students from the universities can't even read the newspaper properly.
Sorry, correction. Just a little bit of correction, Andrew. Actually, I just taught him the technique of reading. When you open the newspaper that day, it's just naturally.
Yes.
I never taught him to read in the sense.
He was able to read.
Yes.
And
By himself.
newspaper
Yes.
can be a very good teaching aid.
That shows how comprehensive the program is.
Yeah.
And it can be done. So
It can
let's
be
not-
done. It
yeah.
can be done.
I
yes.
don't know how you do it, but it's quite amazing that I see a 6-year-old kid can read a newspaper.
That's why I said back to the steps that I'm talking about, step by step. Number 2, do it within the hours, have discipline. And mind you, that kid, the parents are all very busy. They never need to coach the kid. No
Yes.
tuition either. So we all can do it.
They can be
All
very
over the
independent
world.
with your system.
Yes, we can do it.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Thank you once again. No
Yes.
wonder we call her Queen of
Queen
Preschool.
of preschools.
All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed the show.